friends, this is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and I bring you today the most definitive, the final heroic tank raid walkthrough that you're ever going to need until something changes and things get tweaked, and you'll need another one. And essentially, what this video is going to do is going to give you the tools, going to show you how to do the heroic tank to semi-auto the whole dang thing with the resistance team and CLS. Now, some of you may have seen McMole's video and said, oh, hey, he's just copying McMole. Yeah, probably. So if you've seen that, fine, But if you haven't seen that, I totally came up with this all by my own. This was all my doing, and I'm brilliant just how I do. Right. Now, first things first, you're going to need every single legendary character in the game and Finn. So, if you don't have those characters, work towards them. Rely on your guild and move forward. You're going to be using a Jedi Training Ray, BB-8, CLS, and C-3PO. All great characters on their own, all solid characters on their own, but when they work together, they can do some serious damage in the heroic tank. Now, first and foremost, I'm going to give you a few tips. This is not a full auto team. I do not trust the AI, right? It's just, you got to be careful when it comes to artificial intelligence. I mean, I won't get on my soapbox here, but definitely we need to put some things in place. This is not, the game is learning. Right off the bat, I'm going to say that the best thing that you're going to need, one of the most important things that you're going to need is Zetas on much or many of these characters. So this isn't a beginner's walkthrough, guys. This really isn't, unfortunately. And I wish this were, but if you are a beginner, even if you have all of these characters and you don't have them all Zeted, all geared up and all leveled up, then this might not work for you. But the way that this works effectively is it takes advantage of Rey's leadership ability. And Rey's leadership ability, when Zeted, reads this: when a resistance ally uses a special ability, all exposed enemies lose 5% turn meter, which can't be evaded or resisted. And that's the key. It can't be evaded or resisted. When a resistance ally uses a special ability, if they aren't debuffed, reduce their cooldowns by 1. So the key is you want to keep, right, or just not debuffed, right? CLS takes care of himself, but BB-8 and Finn both help with that. Now, what's great about this is the reduction of the turn meter. So essentially, and that's the thing that keeps this going. Now in phase 1, you still have to deal with freaking General Grievous in that 7th turn, and it's incredibly frustrating. What worked for me, and it took me about halfway through the actual first phase run, and this was like the 3rd attempt of the first phase run for me. But what I noticed is anytime I used Rey's Defiant Slash, which calls in a buddy, right? Essentially, what I would do is I would target C-3PO. Now, when C-3PO does his basic attack, Baffling Trick, C-3PO inflicts unique debuff Confused for 3 turns, which can't be evaded or copied, which copied not really a problem. If target is already confused, duration of their stacks is reset to 3. Reduce target's turn meter by 6% and 3% more for each stack of translation. So essentially, what you're doing is you're using his basic every time as often as you possibly can. Now, phase 1, you do not want to use Oh My Goodness. This is the one that calls everybody in, everyone multi-assists, everyone assists, and it's incredibly awesome normally. Here, it gives Grievous turn meter, and it's so frustrating. And what I've noticed is that the AI does that enough. I don't trust the AI. I don't want the AI to run my team. And so I actually went through on phase 1, did the whole thing by myself, right? I did it. I went through this. No mistakes. And it works, right? Now, Grievous is going to get turn meters. Of course, it's going to happen. So what you want to do is always keep Ray's mind trick available to potentially reduce his speed down, his turn meter. Very important. Ray's mind trick reads dispel all buffs on target enemy and inflict ability block, daze, offense down, and speed down for 2 turns. For each debuff inflicted, remove 10% turn meter, which can't be resisted. For each debuff resisted, remove 20% turn meter, which can't be resisted. Now, what you could do here is remove all of her potency or reduce all of her potency, which makes it difficult for her to, land stuff. But, even still, it's still good to throw on speed down, ability block, and daze. It's a catch-22, right? You could remove all of his turn meter, potentially, if he blocked everything. But at the same time, I don't know, it's up in the air for you. And you'll notice that at the end of phase 1, Finn was the last one to do damage, and he was taking off like 3 and 5% at a time. And that's phenomenal. That's awesome. And it's really cool to see. Now, you can auto phase 1 about halfway through from what Mick Mole's video says, and it works. I don't trust things that think and act for themselves. People, computers, the internet. I'm pretty sure the internet's alive. So here, I let this be, right? I did this myself. Phase 2, you can kind of let it go on its own, but there's a big caveat to that. You need to be careful because the AI, again, won't always target the turret, which is incredibly frustrating. And so what I did is as I was autoing, I took the turrets out first. I hit auto, and then when the tank untoppled, which is fun to say, I selected the targets that I wanted to hit. That way, I'm still doing a ton of damage. I'm still doing auto. I think in this video, I was able to do about 5% or 5 topples, which allowed me to dominate this guy. I mean, it was impressive what Finn was doing to that main tank slot as far as like when he hit. Because when he hit like a dump truck. And it was fun to watch. It really, really was. But again, because I don't necessarily trust this, I totally was selecting the different targets here. And you can actually see my mouse clicker go through. What's fun about this, I mean, again, what's fun, crazy fun about this is how much Finn is taking off. It's redonkulous. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Now, with phase 3, I did auto this. And if I remember correctly, I was kind of shocked at how effective it was. Now, you're throwing on a ton of resistance, and like it just seems like every turn during phase 3, my AI took off. Like it did as often as it possibly could, did a special ability, which then once it got all of the other ads down, which, for those of you who don't know, and if you're watching this video, you totally know, ads are the additional characters on the side, right? It took me I think like a year to remember to learn that. But once it got all the ads off, it was really good about taking off turn meter. It's just this was incredibly effective, and it works phenomenally. And literally, I let this play, and it was funny because I was doing yoga with my wife, and like I'm watching the computer and doing like downward dog and warrior pose and all that other crap because that's what I'm totally in shape and can do that stuff. But it was really, really effective. Now, I gotta say though, guys, the team that I ran this with, hands down, completely modded. I've got god mods on these characters. They are fast. They hit hard. They are phenomenal. This is definitely something that you definitely need to put your best mods on them. I mean, I tried this with my own team, with my own personal account, and I did okay, right? And when I wasn't paying attention, when I wasn't selecting the different things, or I lost in phase two because I wasn't paying close enough attention, and I wasn't taking out the turrets, I wasn't taking out the additional ads, toppling the tank, and moving forward. And again, the AI kind of boned me. The key here is good mods are going to always help you out. Good mods are always going to win out. And the mods on these tunes are phenomenal. They're pretty great. Now, and that's what makes this so effective. Now, here's the thing though, guys. These are all great characters anyways. You're probably going to have everyone, with the exception of maybe even Finn, with great mods. So you won't have to move a ton of mods around in the first place. That's the thing. Now, to finish it off, guys, the fourth phase is essentially, I didn't touch it. And I was kind of shocked by that. I think once or twice I jumped in and targeted the B2 battle droids, the rocket droids. But what was impressive about this is I didn't have to touch it. I didn't have to do that because they targeted the B2 droids all by themselves. And so once they did that, it was kind of cool because I really didn't have to worry about it. I was still a little nervous as I was watching because I was thinking to myself, is this going to work? Is this not going to work? Is this going to be viable? Am I going to get all the way to P4 and lose with like 15% left or 10%? That would be infuriating because then I have to do it again. I actually recorded this 3 times. The first 2 times I recorded, for whatever reason, the screen didn't record, and I was infuriated because then I had to do it a 3rd time. But again, it's solid. This is a solid team. It's a solid run. It is still autoable, right? And because you have to interact at least a little bit, I don't think this qualifies as the infinite loop that they're going to fix. So it's very possible that this could be the final stage, right? We might not have to see another Finn rework. We might not have to see a tweak of the raid. I don't think we will. But again, you have to interact with this enough that it does kind of take away that infinite loop option. And that's great because it's frustrating to figure a team out or to have someone figure a team out. You do all the legwork to get your own team up and running, and then by the time you do, they nerf it. It's really frustrating. So I'm hoping beyond hope that this is done. And if it is, this is the final ultimate Zeta guide that you'll ever need until, they bring in Darth Wampa and he can just solo the whole friggin' thing by himself. With that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to let it play out. Let me know what you think. Let me know what other combinations you've seen. I've seen a CLS being removed for Han. I've tried Han and CLS, but I just don't think there's enough damage there that it works under a JTR. There's a few other combos that I'm going to try out just for the kicks and giggles. But let me know what you think. Leave a comment in the section below. Like, subscribe, share. Join the conversation on Discord. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Visit us on goingnerdy.com. Eventually, I will put up a blog post of this stuff. And let me know what you think in the section below. This has been Thaddeus from Going Nerdy. And as always, my friends, smile. Stay nerdy.